Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Ethereum is bouncing from this critical area of support, while Chainlink is flashing a new signal in the short term that we need to pay attention to, while the price of Solana is currently bouncing from this critical level of support, while Cardano is now rejecting from this massive area of resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Ethereum chart, and right now the price of ETH is still in a larger bull market despite the current short-term pullback that we're seeing, because once again we can see short-term pullbacks during a larger bull market, and right now we're still running into that major point of resistance based on these previous highs at around 4,000 to 4.1k. But once we can break out above 4.1k, above this high that we set back in March this year, then in that case we're on our way towards the all-time high at just underneath 5,000. Around 4.7k to 4.9k approximately. And so not a lot has changed for Ethereum on this larger time frame here, and the same can be said about this 3-day time frame. Once again, we're still finding a lot of resistance at approximately 4.1k, and if we're looking at the daily time frame, that area of resistance is still sitting in between around 3.9k to 4.1k. So as I've been saying over and over again here on the channel since before the price actually entered into that price range, expect the price of ETH to struggle a lot in this area right here, as we have seen as expected. Once again, in between 3.9k to 4.1k, acting as strong resistance. But right now, after seeing that strong rejection from that resistance, we have run into this major area of support based on previous support and resistance now acting as support, and that's sitting at around 34.30 to 35.60. And so far, we're actually bouncing from that area, which is good to see. It's good to see the price actually hold a major level of support. And so honestly, I'll not be surprised if perhaps over the coming days, maybe even for 1 or 2 weeks, the price could likely just chop around sideways between this sideways price range here, between support and resistance. So once again, between that area of support that I just mentioned and this area of resistance that I just mentioned, the price will likely remain range bound in this area right here for a little while, maybe a few days, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, that sort of time frame, because at least in the short term, we have clearly lost a lot of bullish momentum with that recent dump and rejection from resistance. But that's just talking about the shorter term. Once again, when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, looking at the more longer term, right now we're still in a larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at this daily time frame, of course, one of the reasons as to why we have lost a bit of bullish momentum in the short term recently is due to the fact that Ethereum has confirmed a bearish divergence on the daily time frame, which I talked about over the last couple of days. And so basically this means that we're likely going to see reduced bullish momentum, most likely in the form of either choppy sideways price action or a bit of a pullback in the price. And obviously, because we've already seen a bit of a pullback in the short term and we're now bouncing from major support, at least as of right now, maybe for the next few days, once again, it's unlikely we'll go well beyond this area of support right here. It's likely this will continue acting as support because we have already seen multiple bounces from that area just over the last 1 to 2 days. But while the price is bouncing from that support, technically this bearish divergence is still currently active on the daily Ethereum chart, which ultimately leads to some choppy sideways price action as the most likely outcome just in the short term during the larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at Chainlink on the weekly time frame, right now Chainlink is still retesting this previous massive Fibonacci area of resistance, which could now be acting as major support in between around $21 to $23. And so for as long as we see a candle close in that area or above that area, it's still good news for Chainlink. And the bullish scenario would be if we hold this area as support, because that would confirm a retest, and a retest like this where we come back down to flip previous resistance into new support, that is extra confirmation, further confirming the breakout to the upside, which is extra bullish for Chainlink on the larger timeframes. This is talking about the longer term, not the shorter term. And we do have resistance at approximately $27, give or take, based on this previous high, still acting as resistance. And we have more resistance in between around $32 to $34 based on this Fibonacci level and these previous highs at close to $34. But once we can see a breakout above around $34, then we're likely going to start heading up towards the all-time high at around $50 to $53. But obviously, in order to start heading up towards those higher price targets here, we first need to hold this golden pocket as support, because if, for example, we see a weekly candle close back below $21, breaking back below the golden pocket on the weekly time frame with confirmation, then in that case, that would be bad news potentially for a few weeks, maybe another month, just in the shorter term, short to midterm, if we break back below the golden pocket with confirmation. But for now, that has not currently happened. And if we're also taking a look at this weekly Chainlink chart, once again, right now we have this massive bullish cup and handle pattern. But with that being said, this is a longer term pattern, not a short term pattern, because of how massive the pattern is. And of course, we're looking at the weekly time frame, not the hour time frame, for example. But in order for this pattern to remain valid, we ideally need to see this weekly candle close confirm above around $23 or at around $23 or anything higher than that. Because, for example, if we see a weekly candle close back below $23, and especially if we confirm a break once again back below $21, that would be bad news in the short to midterm, and that would invalidate this cup and handle pattern and that bullish price target. And so that's definitely something to pay attention to moving forward. And in case you're wondering, the next weekly candle close confirms in around 4.5 days from now. And if we're taking a look at the short term for Chainlink on the 4-hour time frame, obviously over the last couple of days, we perfectly played out this bearish divergence as expected in the form of a short-term pullback, because obviously I shared this short-term warning signal here on the channel when the price of Chainlink was all the way back up here before that latest pullback, basically coming back in for a retest of this golden pocket. But right now, we are currently starting to play out a new bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, obviously the opposite of a bearish divergence. So instead of higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI, instead we have lower lows in the price and higher lows in the RSI. That's a bullish divergence, and right now, technically speaking, this has been confirmed. And so this is telling us that we're likely going to see a bit of a bullish relief in the short term, maybe for 1 or 2 days or so. Once again, this is just a shorter term pattern. So for a couple of days, we're likely going to see a bit of a bullish relief, or at the very least, just some choppy sideways price action. So essentially a break from all of this bearish price action here, maybe for a day or two. But it is worth pointing out that this bullish divergence is obviously much smaller compared to this bearish divergence, which means it may not be as effective as this bearish divergence was right here with that pullback. So we might not necessarily see a major pump, maybe just a slight bullish relief as a likely scenario in the short term. And in case you're wondering about my trading strategy right now for the price of Chainlink, as of right now, that trading strategy has not changed at all over the last 1 day, because since yesterday, we haven't really seen any new significant signal actually confirm in place on this weekly time frame, for example. And of course, that trading strategy was a longer term trading strategy, a swing trade, not just a day trade. And if you're also interested in taking trades in the price of any crypto, personally, I've been taking more trades over on Bitfinex, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link below this video to make your account, you can get a 5.5k deposit bonus. And only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever. But that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account and deposit on that account and start trading on that account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. But for whatever reason, if you don't want Bitfinex, there is also Bybit, which is another exchange that I also trade on from time to time. And if you use the link below this video to Bybit, you can get a 500 USDT position airdrop. So basically a free $500 trade as your first trade over on Bybit, but that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Solana on the 3-day time frame, right now Solana is bouncing from a critical level on the price chart, which is this level right here, based on this previous high on the 3-day time frame, sitting at approximately $210. And so as I explained in my last altcoin video here on the channel just yesterday, I said we're likely going to find some support in between around 200 to 210, and right now we're bouncing exactly from that area as expected. And it was important for the price to actually hold this area right here, because as I also explained yesterday, if we, for example, start seeing candle closes, a confirmed break below around $200, then in the short to midterm, that would be be bad news for Solana. That would be bearish price structure. But for as long as Solana is still holding this level as support and bouncing from this level, as we are seeing right now, at least as of recording this video, for as long as this is happening, we can still remain within the larger bullish trends, the larger bull market, if we're simply just forming yet another higher low in this larger bullish trend. And the next major price target to the upside is, of course, this 1618 Fibonacci extension level for Solana at around $313. But before $313, of course, we have a lot of short-term resistance to pay attention to. So if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 8-hour time frame, of course, we have strong resistance at 260 and also strong resistance at 246. And as of right now, at the time of recording this video, the price of Solana is attempting a breakout back above this previous level of support and resistance, which could have possibly acted as a bit of resistance here, and that was sitting at around 222. But especially if we can confirm this breakout here above 222, in that case, the next short-term resistance is at around 232, and then above that, once again, I'll be looking closer towards around 245 to 246 as strong resistance. And we can see that over the last 1 to 2 days, as soon as the price of Solana broke below this level of support at around 222, we pretty much immediately went straight down to my next level of support at approximately $205, and to the nearest dollar or so, that's pretty much exactly where we bounced from. And so as of right now, of course, we still have a lot of support at around $205, which is really a bit of a price range in between around 200 to 210, once again acting as significant support. And in case you're wondering, if the price were to actually break below that level of support, below around $200, in that case, the next major level of support to the downside is at around 180 to 185. In that price range, that would likely come next if we first break below around 200 to 210, which for now is acting as support. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Cardano on the weekly time frame, obviously Cardano has experienced a pretty strong rejection from this massive area of resistance as expected, which is of course the golden pocket area of resistance sitting in between around $1.12 to $1.23 approximately. And so as I've been saying for weeks now on the channel, expect a lot of resistance, a lot of struggle in this exact price range right here. And that's exactly what we've seen as expected. But if we were to see a confirmed breakout with ideally a weekly candle close above around $1.23, in that case, we'll likely head up towards at least around $1.46 to $1.47 based on these previous highs acting as a bit of short-term resistance. But above that, the next major price target would be sitting at around $1.76 approximately based on this Fibonacci level of resistance. But obviously between now and then, we still have this golden pocket acting as very strong resistance. And as for significant support on the larger timeframes, we do have this significant level of previous support and resistance currently acting as support at approximately 82 to 83 cents. And in terms of the larger trend at play, obviously Cardano can remain within a larger bull market here. This could simply just be another higher high and about to form another higher low within a much larger bullish trend on the larger time frames. But obviously in the shorter term, we can see little pullbacks and things like that, especially around strong resistance levels during a larger bullish market. And with that being said, if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 12-hour time frame, of course, we've also been playing out this bearish divergence over the last few days here, which I have been warning about here on the channel. And so as I actually said 2 days ago, when the price was back up here at around $1.20 approximately, I said right around there, I would not be buying or longing Cardano right there, because right now we're running into major resistance and a bearish divergence is actively playing out. So right around there is when I said there is short-term risk for Cardano, short-term risk of a pullback. And since I said that around 2 days ago, that's exactly what we have seen as expected. But obviously right now we have run into important support here in the short term based on this previous low sitting at around 90 cents to 91 cents approximately. So right around 90 cents, we have a lot of short-term support to pay attention to. But if we were to break back below 90 cents, in that case, the next support to watch out for would be sitting at around 82 to 83 cents. And below that, I'll be watching around 70 cents. And as for the short-term momentum, as of right now, we don't really have any short-term bullish momentum, and we do have a bit of short-term bearish momentum, but not a lot of short-term bearish momentum. And so honestly, I'll not be surprised if the price continues to struggle, especially while we're underneath this major golden pocket area of resistance just in the short term, maybe for the next few days, maybe another week or so, that sort of time frame. But while we're holding above 90 cents, once again, we have major support at that level, which means we could just bounce around for a little bit here in the short term. But once again, I'll not necessarily expect a significant amount of bullish momentum, because once again, we're still playing out an active bearish divergence and we're still trading underneath massive resistance. And so I'll not necessarily flip much more bullish again on Cardano until we can see a confirmed breakout beyond this golden pocket right here, ideally above around $1.23 with a weekly candle close above $1.23. At that point, we can finally start flipping much more bullish again in the shorter term. And once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or shorts positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.